and maintaining affordability. And there is an amendment.
Following amendment, clerk will read the amendment.
Amendment by Holt.
Ms. Holt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this amendment is derived from discussions with Representative Guillen yesterday afternoon, and I believe is favorable to him. It just puts up some safeguards in the bill, and I appreciate his willingness to work with me on that and made the bill better. Thank you.
Mr. Wu, for what purpose?
Would the lady yield for questions?
Generally yield for questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Generally yields.
I apologize. This came up kind of slowly. This is a 1, 2, 3-page amendment. Could you tell us? I mean, this is a lot of stuff. Could you explain what this is and why it's different from the bill?
Yes, sir. What this does, and basically you'll see it, why it's a 3-page amendment is because it's in 2 separate sections of the bill. It's the same language in 2 different places. One of them says that if you are that you cannot make these transactions if you are under indictment or under known investigation by any law enforcement agency, prosecuting attorney, or the Attorney General for any crime involving the marketing, sale, or transfer of residential real estate. That's in there twice. The second one that is also in there twice, if you'll notice on page 1 in line 25, it references another section, and basically that part of it says, make sure I'm reading the right thing, where it talks about the purchaser of the property against which the mortgage is secured may not use multiple legal entities to escape regulatory requirements. In other words, can't set up an LLC for different entities and then be able to sell property under multiple LLCs. Did that answer your question?
So, I'm sorry, on page 2, line 10, starting on line 10, the owner of a real estate is not eligible for an exemption under this if the owner is or is an employee or contractor of an entity that is under indictment for crimes involving marketing or sales. That's a pretty, is that something that's new to the bill?
Yes, sir. And if you'll notice, it is on page 1 also. It's in 2 separate sections of the bill. Same language.
How is that different from what's in the bill now?
It's adding that section.
Okay. Why?
Safeguards, protections.
What?
I'm not sure, were you in here when I was questioning Mr. Representative Guillen yesterday?
I don't know.
Okay.
We went through like I think 100 and something bills in the last few days. So.
Absolutely, I know, and we're all a little brain dead right now. So let me just real quickly review. In my district is an area known as Colony Ridge, and in this Colony Ridge, the developer. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker.
Please, this is about as quiet as it gets. Trust me.
Okay. All right. And in this area, the developer has taken advantage of a lot of people in my area, and this is just a section that was added in order that if he is under indictment right now for some of the things that he has done in his development. And so this section here just says that someone, an employee or the contractor who's under indictment or is under investigation by law enforcement or a defendant to any civil or administrative action brought by the United States, so-and-so, you're reading it there, I'm sure, that he would not be able to do that. He or she would not be able to do that.
So on line 13, I understand what under indictment means, and it specifically has to be an indictment for a crime alleging some kind of criminal activity involving marketing, sale, or transfer, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So what does under investigation mean? Like from a practical standpoint, I know under indictment is a like black and white kind of thing. Either you're indicted or you're not. Known investigation, what do you have to know to be barred from this?
Well, I'm not in law enforcement, but I believe it would be the beginning of an investigation, and they would have to have some sort of evidence at that point in order to begin an investigation.
So most of the times when the police start investigating someone, they don't tell them. how would a person who's being restricted by this know that they're under investigation if the investigation is confidential?
Well, it's under known investigation, so that it would be known. It's not an unknown investigation, it's known.
So, and I would assume the investigation occurs before the indictment. What is, I'm just, as a legislative intent, what does known legally mean? Like, do they have to receive a letter? Do they have to be told in person? Is it like a cop just like whispers to them, hey, we're looking at you?
The developer would have, they would have to know that they were under investigation. That's the intent of this.
Okay.
Whether or not they're notified. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Anchia, for what purpose?
will the gentlelady yield? for
Does the
some
gentlelady
questions?
yield?
Yes.
She yields
All
for
right,
question.
so the underlying Guillen bill, I just want to understand how your amendment works with it. That relates to exemptions for certain property owners from regulatory requirements for residential loan mortgage originators. Okay, these are the people who originate the loan mortgages. How does what is the additional requirements you are putting on the loan originators?
There's two sections, two pieces of this, although it's duplicated in the amendment, it's duplicated twice, but it's the same thing. One has to do with whether they are under investigation, whether they are
And
under
this
indictment.
is for the, sorry, just.
I'm sorry.
A clarification. This is for the originator of the loans?
Is that the contractor and the developer, yes, sir.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking? I want to make sure I'm answering what you're
I
asking.
think a mortgage loan originator, I think, is, for example, could be a mortgage broker, right?
Someone who's carrying the loan.
Could be a bank, right? Could be a private equity company. I'm trying to understand what additional requirements you are putting on the mortgage loan originators, because that's what the underlying bill is about.
I do not want, what this attempts to do is that to stop someone who is under investigation for shady practices from being able to continue making these loans.
Okay, got it. So, but specifically, you want to target the mortgage loan originator, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The one who is hurting people, hurting innocent people.
But your amendment speaks in terms of an owner of residential real estate is not eligible for an exemption, even though the bill is about mortgage loan originators. So I want to understand how the two work together. Your people have left.
Brent.
Can you answer your question about your amendment?
I am not a lawyer, okay? So my intent was if there is an unscrupulous developer who is taking advantage of people, this is something that is happening right now in my district, and this is why I am bringing this to us here today.
Okay, is it bracketed to your district?
No, it is not, because this is going to happen all across the state of Texas, all across the country, honestly. When you have these gaps in these situations where an unscrupulous developer can take advantage of people. I do not want to stop.
So the underlying bill deals with mortgage loan originators, not developers. So I'm just confused by your answer.
Let me finish my sentence, and maybe I've misspoke on term and terminology, but what I'm wanting to do is make sure that I want good developers to do what good developers do, and mortgage loan, to take care, and if they want to have because this developer is writing loans, floating these loans for people, and I want him in what he's doing.
I'm listening.
In what he's doing, I am trying to stop what he's doing happening throughout the state of Texas.
Okay. This is, I think your amendment, what you're saying is that you want to deal with developers. The bill talks about mortgage loan originators. Your amendment talks about owners of residential real estate. Those are three separate things, so it's really confusing to follow you. And I understand you're not a lawyer, but you're a lawmaker, and you are trying to make a statewide law here, and I'm not sure it's making sense to me.
Okay, so a mortgage loan in, can, an owner of residential real estate who makes a first lien mortgage loan to a purchaser of the property against which the mortgage is secured, that's the developer. And that's in Representative Guillen's bill.
Okay, can you pull down your amendment so
Gentleladies,
that we
your
can
time has
take a look
expired.
at it? Because I understand you're trying to solve something in your district, but this is statewide.
The gentlelady's time has expired.